Hello to everybody. My topic is a bit more specific. The computer games, animes, and social medias and their impact on violence, peer bullying, and suicidal behaviors. First, why is digital communication important? We communicate through internet more and more as days go by, and it has emerged as a risk group, especially among the children, and the adolescents, especially between 12 and 17 years of age. Almost 68% of the children participate in the internet or internet-related activities. Some children use internet 17 per week, some use almost 40 hours per week, and online friends are preferred a lot in our day. And this online communication becomes more important for the adolescent. And this is why there are some risk factors about online communication, among which cyber bullying, cyber follow-up, cyber privacy attacks, cyber abuse, that the things, the pornographic violence, for example, or gambling risks, alcohol and similar drugs, the commercial risks of selling these materials, and they may reach to a dimension that would damage the kids' behaviors and causing anxiety or other types of behavioral disorders. So, this online violence or online communication and internet-related violence and its factors, its characteristics that are different from the other types of violence. First, the factors that are related to violence is much more easily distributed to wider masses by just copying and pasting the messages. Therefore, an online harm to people is as easy as clicking on a button, and with almost one click, tens or hundreds of people may be exposed to violence or threats. Another problem about online violence is that the absence of emotional response. In the face-to-face communication, the bullying factors such as hindering bullying with communication, with conversation, and so on. But in online bullying, the person, the victim of bullying is not as easy. It is not so easily stop being bullied. In online bullying, the perpetrator is unable to understand that the person in front of him is feeling bad. In face-to-face bullying, there could be some, mediators in between the bullier and the bullied. But in internet environment, in electronic environment, no mediators, no interventions come from outside, and the bullying becomes more uncontrollable. Another thing is the accessibility of 24/7 in the physical bullying. It is normally limited with school hours or work hours and so on, but in online bullying can happen 24/7, non-stop. You can encounter it anytime. So with these characteristics, the cyberbullying is considered to be different from other types of bullying. We have defined bullying in the previous presentations. The underlying factor, underlying feature of bullying is the idea of harming the other. But there is no specific or certain concept about cyberbullying. The time, the venue, the location or duration of bullying is not easily highlighted in the definition of cyberbullying. The duration, this once or for a month or lifetime bullying cannot be easily known by the bullies. These, of course, areas need to be understood, and some studies have been made in order to understand the differences of cyberbullying than the conventional bullying. The cyberbullying may include some irritative or irritating behaviors, abuse or harassment, and even fooling person to give you his ID information, or exclusion, leaving the person out from a group by blocking them on platforms like WhatsApp and the other communication platforms, imitating persons and some threatening messages can be included in the cyberbullying as well. Other than that, the nudity or the sharing private info about someone with the third people could be included in cyberbullying as well. The prevalence is mainly showing us that the risk group includes the teenagers, the adolescents, and the children in the elementary school students. 17% shows experiences bullying. So it is not only for adolescents as well. It could be experienced by the students who are in the primary or elementary schools as well, by 17%. So this our experience and the extent that we can transmit our experience to the new type cyberbullying is debatable, of course, but the main principles of cyberbullying is not so different from conventional bullying. There is an imbalance of powers, imbalance of force, and this imbalance is also one of the important factors, most fundamental pillars of conventional bullying. In cyberbullying, there is an imbalance of power, but this power is not physical. It is mainly about the power of knowledge. So the bully, knows more than the bullied, and this causes bullying. Another thing that makes cyberbullying different from conventional bullying is animosity. The identity of the bully may not be known to the victim, and this is an encouraging factor for the bully as well. Normally, if his identity was known, the person wouldn't dare to bully the others. But since he is anonymous, he bullies others much easily. In cyberbully, the victim does not understand the identity of the other. Therefore, it invokes panic on the victim too. We normally experience conventional bullying in the daily hours, in the day hours, and in cyberbullying, it can happen any time of the day, as we said. And another factor in the bullying, the audience. plays a role in preventing the conventional bullying. But in cyberbullying, the audience is normally non-existent. If bullying happens on social media, on public platforms such as Facebook, other people also witness it, and at that case, the audience is much larger than conventional bullying. The motivational factors for cyberbullying may be different from the conventional bullying as well, and these motivational factors may not be prevented to protect the victim from being bullied. Still, the conventional and cyber bullying are not so different from one another in terms of the motives. Most of the time, they coexist. The person is also bullied in digital media if the person is being bullied in the daily life face to face as well. There are some models to decrease the bullying and increase awareness about bullying. Bandura is the one we have witnessed. Is in the other presentations we have defined. I will base my point of view on that model in the general aggression model. There are three important factors in this model. The personal and environmental factors, which include the issues that create a risk factor for the person, and it creates some stimulant pathways for the person, and in the long run it may cause psychopathology. When we check, we see some inputs for the person. They drove a road, and about cognitive and emotional stimulation, the internal processes step in, and the thoughts about bullying for the victim may be different from the perpetrator. When we take a look at these risk factors one by one, the other is the gender and sex.
Geleneksel zorbalığa baktığımızda erkek cinsiyeti bu konuda
Male sex is a little bit more prominent here, and it's a form of aggression, and it is more prevalent in males, and it's a little indirect in cyberbullying. And for women, it's actually, for girls, it's actually more prevalent in cyberbullying, but there are no clear studies on this. It could be considered as equivalent to each other, or more frequent in males, and females are more affected by it. Another point is the age. When you look at it in a general sense, the risky period or risky age group is usually around middle school age, and these periods, and or childhood and adolescence. After the 5th grade, this risk increases, bullying increases. Again, along with that, there is a huge proportion of population that encounters bullying in their adolescent years. And there's another point, which is motivation. Motivation could be a lot of different things. For example, being bullied before is one of the motivations. This could be viewed as something fun or exerting their powers on the other party. And the most widespread motivation is aggression, of course. It is shown by studies. Another important factor in bullying is personality. And empathy is one of the most important points to consider here. Usually, more empathetic people are predominantly are victims of bullying. And of course, some psychological situations affect these things. For example, some psychological conditions could be the reason of bullying, or it could be the reason why some people are more affected by it. Socioeconomic situation, conditions, and technology use are also very important because people spend more time online now because of the developments of technology. The probability of being the victim or the perpetrator of bullying increased. People who use the internet, over 40% of them spend more than 3 hours online. Another factor could be listed as values and perceptions. Sometimes they could perceive bullying or reflect bullying as something moral, as in a response to something immoral, or the victim should be condemned because they did something immoral, and that's why these people are bullying them. This is another perception, and perceptions could change as well. The victims start believing that they deserve being the victim of bullying after a while. Other inappropriate behavior are again among the individual factors. For example, I'm not going to stay too much on that topic, just wanted to give you the title. There are some environmental factors along with the individual factors. Provocation and perceived support are other factors, environmental factors. And social support and cyberbullying has a relationship between them. Another important factor is parents having more or stronger emotional support or emotional bonds with parents. It's a preventive or protective factor in terms of bullying. Controlling parents in terms of communication or the access to technological devices. This is also another factor that affects this situation. Another environmental factor is the school climate or the school environment. Negative environments around school create a lot of problems. And these problems or these emotional problems or other things that victimize these children in school actually lead to bullying and cyberbullying. Another environmental factor is the identities being concealed. So, and kind of an anonymity is another factor. Could these factors be sole factors affecting cyberbullying? No, of course not. But cognitive, emotional, and behavioral results actually come out of this whole process. And there are some changes in the personality in the individual. So this could lead to, all of these combined could lead to cyberbullying. And this could actually lead to some conclusions, some results, such as impulsive responses developing in these people. Some people could react in a negative way, or some people could react in a positive way. But some people could actually turn their behavior into cyberbullying that would affect the victim in a short term or in a long term. For example, opening a web page about them. And also smoking, alcohol abuse, use of substances, anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts, and bad physical health, self-harm. These could be listed among the long-term problems that could be caused by cyberbullying. So we looked at the individual factors, we looked at the environmental factors. This could create negative emotional states in individuals, and it affects their decision-making processes. When an individual encounters a situation, they could evaluate the situation as a risky situation, and they can show aggression or aggressive behaviors and decide to keep on showing that aggressive behavior after that. In terms of the victim, when we look at the cyberbullying victims, mostly the process starts with encountering bullying of any kind. This actually causes a stress and a feeling that their lives are out of their hands, or they cannot control their lives, have control over their lives, or maybe it could create a behavioral pattern such as taking revenge or seeking revenge against the bully. And these types of behaviors are coarsely listed as the risk factors and long-term results of bullying. Of course, one of the most prevalent and scary side of these results could be suicidal thoughts. In a meta-analysis among 156,000 children and young people, self-harm was about 2.25 folds higher in victims of cyberbullying, and not only in victims, but among bullies as well. The suicidal thoughts were found out to be higher. In another study, 66 studies, papers were assessed and reviewed. Abuse, cyberbullying, and other types of bullying were listed as risk factors for suicide. And obesity, other insufficiencies were listed among some of the risk factors. And for the positive side, positive factors, having a healthy diet, having good social relations and communications, or parenting styles. were actually protective factors. Like I mentioned before, in the pathway going towards suicide or suicide attempts, I already listed the causes and risk factors. There are some studies regarding the social media use, and in social media, this bullying type is usually revolving around spreading rumors, especially among young girls. It is related to their criticism on their appearance, their clothes, etc. And for boys, it's usually mocking comments or homophobic messages, or criticizing or making fun of their physical appearance. And in this study, the mean prevalence was found out to be around 23%, and there was a weak relation between cyberbullying and anxiety, and also a significant relation between depression and cyberbullying. And when we look at the conclusions, we can see that cyberbullying is a difficult to understand situation, condition, but it is a public health issue at this point. And as long as technology keeps developing at this pace, it will always be in our lives, it seems. Another important differentiation between bullying and cyberbullying is that young children and adolescents are much more affected by it. Both as victims and bullies, they are negatively impacted, especially it could lead to important psychiatric problems, and it has a correlation with suicide and suicide attempts. So that's why we need to improve the protective factors, and we should combat against cyberbullying, and we should develop some strategies to battle cyberbullying. As the cyberbullying changes, we should also keep our strategy to fight it. Thank you very much.